What is up, everybody? It is Homies of Mars back again today with another video, and today we're doing a dual commentary with
Talwar, or you might know me as BikuriBox12 on YouTube.
yeah. So I founded his channel a few days ago, and I really enjoy his content, and I recommend that you go to his channel right now or after this video. In the description, you can go and find his channel and the information for that, and definitely go check out his channel. But today we wanted to talk about the best way, or the top three ways, in my opinion, and Talwar's opinion, that is,
Yes.
to get rich in Realm of the Mad God. And let me tell you, some people don't actually know this, and I know I'm expecting most of you to learn something from this, even if you know some of this. But, anyways, we're gonna go and start reading off the list here. And number three
Number
is
three.
Abysses.
Yep. Number three, Abysses. The Abyss of Demons is, I would say, a mid-tier dungeon, dropping both defense and vitality potions. The boss is adequately difficult. You'll need to go on a melee in order to complete this dungeon, unless you're maxed. But if you're not, you want to take at least a group of 3 unmaxed friends, I would say. And you want...
Yeah, they take a lot of practice, in my opinion, because sometimes you can be running around and don't sit in the lava too long because you will eventually die. But, anyways, as you were saying,
Yes, the Knight would probably be the best class to run this on, even if you're unmaxed, because your shield and possibly your ring will give you enough def to tank the shots. Warrior would have to be my secondary choice because he also receives a def bonus from his helmet. The Paladin, I would say not so much, but if he does get the def buff, like Kabam is saying, then maybe he will be a third
yeah.
option.
Or, and this is great with friends. If you run Abysses with your friend, and this is not, we don't really have to have a pet for this, in my opinion. If you have two other friends plus you, one of you is a knight, one of you is a paladin, one of you is a warrior, then you can roll over those things extremely fast. It is in fact one of my favorite ways to do because honestly, I hate doing them on my own and they take a little bit too long. But with a friend, you can get these things rolled over and you can get so much defense and so much vitality. You can be maxing yourself 6-8 within days.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I still can't rush Abysses super duper easy on a warrior. I still have to clear rooms at times, so don't be intimidated by them. If you need to clear them out, don't be afraid, and don't be afraid to clear the white demons as well, because that has killed many people.
Yeah, you need to play around and make sure you know what does what, because just to let you know, the only thing you really need to watch out for in the abyss is the demons that shoot the big red bolts that you'll see them, but believe me, they do the most, and everything else isn't as bad. Especially when you max defense. If you're able to max defense and then start going into these a lot heavier, then you can do these things really fast, and they're just great. So number two, we want to go ahead and talk about WCs. Now, I know most of you probably understand that. Yeah, of course, this is right. Some of you already know this, but the thing is if you want to do a WC and you want to build a class specifically for doing WCs, you're going to be looking at the assassin. Now, the assassin, whenever you go into a WC, it's probably the easiest thing you could ever do. I mean, you just sit back, throw poisons. You don't even have to put yourself into danger. The hardest part about the WC for an assassin is rushing it, and that's not even that hard because your base speed isn't actually that bad. It's pretty good. But
True.
honestly, yes, you can get your tops from there, and it's really easy. And even if you don't get tops, you'll even get old tops, and you can even get defense and vitality, which is really good. And I believe it's a really good source of wealth.
True. A lot of people are saying that the rogue is the king of rushing for wine cellars especially. I would say that, except if you are not maxed on speed and you cannot get to the not to Oryx in time before all of the assassins and knights get there, then you won't be able
Yep.
to solo him invisible because everybody will be around you and you might risk dying.
Exactly. And actually, earlier today I was on a wine cellar with my rogue, and I don't really like doing things that are very uncomfortable, especially because now there's no ammies, so I kind of have to watch what I'm doing. And I don't even like really doing WCs with rogues because that's even a little bit risky because you have to watch out for people around you. But luckily, I was able to rush up there fast enough, and I was there with one other rogue, and we were able to get a lot of damage in, and I was able to get enough damage in to get a claim. And I really didn't have to do that much, just rush ahead of everybody and you eventually get there. But honestly, if you're wanting to do a WC, again, I would recommend you have, max speed and stuff like that. That's just in defense, having a high defense is good, and really don't try to do as many WCs until you really get that mark, because you'll definitely get a lot more tops and have a lot more drops if you're able to do them faster and make sure you don't die every time you do them.
Yeah. This is kind of a personal opinion of mine from experience. My very first WC top was a Colossus Shield, and I was actually on my knight unmaxed.
Oh, nice.
And
What?
yeah, I was absolutely amazed at how this was my very first top. And I want to let you guys know that don't be intimidated to go in on Oryx, but also obviously you must be careful. What I did was you have to make sure that you're off center for this. Keep an eye on O2 and make sure that you watch the other knights go in for the stun first. You go in, get your damage in, and if you see that he hasn't been stunned in the last say 2 seconds, back out of there. Unless you have enough
Yeah.
mana to throw in your own stun. But yeah, that was a very, very amazing time in my realm life. If you
Done.
can do that, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, and of course, just don't sit on top of them. Oryx isn't that bad. Honestly, I feel like if you can circle around them, the only problem is other people trying to circle around the other way. But if you can get as many WCs as you can, and these days they are a lot more common. I've noticed at least. And even if you just want to look, the best way to look out for WCs, in my opinion, is you can check other Realmers streams. You can check the forums. The forums has lists filled with like people hosting WCs. Just follow those, and if you do like 20 to 30 WCs, now that in one day that's a lot, believe me. But if you're able to fit that many, which it's possible, with if you're on summer break or it's a Saturday or something and you have a lot of time to kill, if you're able to do that, I guarantee you, if you're on an assassin, you're throwing a lot of poisons, you should at least get one top. I'd be really surprised if you didn't. But then again, there's always those bad days, but there's just it's really good. It's a really good source of life, and that is ultimately what I would recommend doing if you're newer to the game is transferring your tops into life, unless you want to save them for later. But transferring your tops into life will definitely start you on that maxing, and getting higher in stats will let you get other characters. And one thing we definitely want to make sure you guys understand is that having more than one class in this game is definitely a luxury, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's like 100% needed, but it's definitely recommended in my opinion. Having at least one or two extra slots other than your normal one, so having like 2 or 3 characters is really good, because it's just you can have one character that is good at doing abysses and god farming, and then you can have another character that's good at doing WCs, and
Yeah.
then one character that is good at doing the last thing, which is number one.
Yes. Tombs. We've all heard of them and we've all seen them, but have you actually gone into one? I hope so, because these are a fantastic source of maxing a character. The 3 tomb bosses are most notorious for dropping the 3 rings and 3 life potions each. Ring of the Pyramid, Ring of the Nile, and Ring of the Sphinx. Now, I don't believe that you're going to be getting these rings on your first
The
try,
first time.
but you
Yeah.
will definitely be getting life potions because it's good. Trust me. Okay, so to do this dungeon, you're going to need. I mean, I wouldn't say that you need a max character, but if you're rushing
I
this,
mean,
you
if your
definitely.
skill level is high enough, you can do a tomb without being max, but your chances of putting in enough DPS are a lot lower to get the soulbound loot. But honestly, guys, I'm sure Talwar can agree with me on this, is that you at least need max defense. Having max speed is definitely useful.
Yes.
You don't need max attack and dexterity, but if I definitely recommend it if you want to put in that DPS.
Mm-hmm.
And having max vitality is actually really good, but it's not 100% needed as long as you have either a good pet or just a lot of HP potions.
It's like you said,
Wisdom, yeah,
maximum speed is almost a necessity. What with the quicksand, if you get say
yeah,
armor broken by Bess and you're backing up into the sand and you don't have max speed, say one of them goes into rage, you're going to get sat on. You need to really watch out
yeah.
for that.
And here's the thing, guys. There's plenty of you out there that I know of that are 4 and 6, 8 and still haven't done a tomb yet. Now, what me and Talwar have agreed to do, or Talwar and I, that's what I'm gonna say, is
Yes.
we will do a tomb guide in the future. Just be watching out for that. But again, tombs, okay. They have basically turned my whole bank into just a pile of life. I'm not joking. Whenever I joined Best Nut Yet, or actually it was Paradise a long time ago, I was still newer to the game. I didn't have I didn't have a lot of characters, but once I started doing tombs with them, I was able to do tombs in a controlled environment to where it wasn't an FFA. Um, Doing controlled tombs are the best, by the way. And I know a lot of people that haven't been in a real controlled tomb. But when you can just go best, nut, and geb, or you can even do nut, best, geb, but I recommend best on geb in a group. Um, if you can do that, you will have a high chance of being able to get a lot of life, even 3-3. And it's just a great way to get so much cash in the game. And once, if you're like saying, hey, I want to get, I don't know, a freaking unbound ring, okay? If you're able to get 3-3 in like 3 tombs, you've already gotten it. But even though 3-3 is not that common, you can even do like, 8 tombs and still get 1-3 and get one. It's just
Hmm.
it's a great way to afford all of my tops. That's how I got all my tops. If you're gonna look where I'm at today, it was because of tombs. Like that's
Yeah,
literally
without a doubt.
that is how you go into a professional player, in my opinion. And even even though they have all the tombs, they like, oh, I mean, not tombs, they have all these other dungeons like the epic dungeons and even the shatters. Tombing, it's if you can get a good guild that does them fast. We can do tombs. I remember doing tombs in like 10 minutes with a group, even shorter. If you're able to do them that fast and
Yeah.
your rusher is just really good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Getting
lie.
in that type of, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My first clean tomb that I finally did, I had no idea what I was supposed to do in the tomb. Besides, obviously, best nut geb, and I succeeded beyond belief. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm not going to do well in this tomb just because you've never done it before. It's not very difficult to pick up the very first time. Whenever you're on best, you circle around at an average pace, I would say. You just say you're on a knight and you can get stuns in. Perfect. That's probably one of the best classes, at least for a new player, to do. Don't bring a wizard, because if you're not skilled with spell bombs, you could risk activating all of the other bosses. But a knight, possibly a warrior, and even a paladin, melees are always a good safe bet because of their high
Yeah.
def. But if you do get armor broken, that's the time whenever you say, alright, I'm just going to step out, then you get back in. Watch for the phases that the bosses go into, because if they're close to raging, that's your cue to skedaddle. So,
Yeah, and of course, when we do that video, we'll definitely go into the grain and say like, look, okay, with a magnifying glass, we'll give you every single little thing you really need to worry about. But literally, if you're on your first tomb, try it out with some friends. You need to find somebody. You need to find a tomb, that or a guild that hosts tombs a lot. If you can do that, and that you can get in a chat with them and talk to them about it, they can kind of run you through some stuff. But really, guys, doing tombs is something you should look at for a later goal in the game. If you're just getting like 168, you might want to start kind of looking that direction because it'll start helping you a lot. But make sure your first tomb you probably won't rush, but you can kind of sit with some other people and just try to help them, let them carry you through the task of doing one. But I think
yes.
that's about it for this guy. But literally, tombs is definitely the number one way of getting the most money in this
Yeah,
game.
if you can do a tomb or even try a pub tomb, say, I don't know, you're on a necromancer. That's still a pretty good bet that you could possibly get 1-3 in a pub tomb. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's not a terrible class. I think the worst probably class, in my opinion, for doing tombs might be, I don't know, maybe a priest. But even then, it's not that bad. I mean,
right.
if you can, like, range classes are good and even the melees are good, but melee requires a little bit more of like understanding how bosses work. But if
Yes.
it's your first tomb, you can go on a wizard or even a necro or a mystic. All those are fine because if you have range, that's fine. But just make sure you watch where you're shooting because you don't want to
Yeah.
wake any other bosses if you're doing a normal tomb.
I'd say that
But
these three best ways to get money is these should be done in chronological order, no? First
yeah,
abysses, then wine cellars, then tombs.
that's kind of the whole idea. It's abysses are your kind of your base level for starting your way into your getting rich, and then WCs are going to definitely help that a lot, and then tombs are just the best way so far. And you can do the shatters. That requires a lot of
If
people
you
right now, unless
dare.
yeah, I mean, if you're lucky enough, you get like an unbound ring or something, and then you just save yourself a lot of time and not having to do as many tombs. But
Yeah. It's
really,
risky
guys,
and
I
it's
feel like
yeah.
the shatters is more of just something you do for fun, but it's not a grindable thing yet, in my opinion. But tombs are grindable. Yes, you can grind
Very.
tombs. Um, like I know they cost like 3 life now if you want to buy them from somebody. But if you can get a few friends to pitch in, or one guy, that usually what happens with our guild sometimes if we're buying a tomb, we'll have somebody buy one for 3 life, and then we donate to him if we get two out of 3 life or a UT. And usually the person that buys it gets like one or two more than he actually paid for it. And so in the end, it's good.
You
Um,
usually
but other than
benefit.
that, guys, yeah, it's a great way to just start your way into getting rich. And I know there's not a lot of people that understand this, but yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Yeah.
And if Hayes has anything left to say,
No, I think we covered everything, or if we haven't, we'll discuss it in a later video.
yeah. But yeah, basically that's pretty much it. It's actually pretty simple, but if you in the end it's simple. Once you do about 10 or 20 tombs, you'll really start to get the hang of it, and it's not that bad. And of course, WCs, if you just get an assassin, pretty easy.
Yeah.
Abysses, just don't sit in the lava, and you
Yeah.
should be good.
You should be good. All right.
Should be good.
Thank you
Anyways,
guys for
guys,
watching.
yeah,
Yeah.
you guys have a good rest of the day. We'll see you guys in the next video. And be looking out for that tomb guide in the near future. Hopefully, we'll get it out within the next week or so. That's what we're planning out, hopefully. Anyways, guys, see you later.
Nice talking. See you.
All right. So,